Are we ready for Ron, or we got another story or two? Oh,
No, we're ready to go.
Okay, Ron.
But I do have some help.
All right, we have some
So we
technical
got some
expertise.
generation on stuff. Come on up, come on up. I'm just gonna
Oh,
do
you
the
got a speaker?
clicking. Yeah, she's gonna read.
Right, all yours. Now start with your name.
Well, start with your name and then I'll tell them what's happening here.
My name is Savvy Gansko. I'm Rachel's daughter.
Okay. I was sitting there, she said, can I read? And I went, sure. I'll do the little clicker, and then we'll make a team effort here of doing this presentation together. What happened was one of the crew chiefs of Charley's Jewel is not able to be here today, so we got 3 pages of a written thing telling his updates, and he sent a bunch of photos. And so I'm up till midnight last night trying to put it in PowerPoint. So this is, I think we did pretty good. So as she goes through, I'm just going to kind of click through the photographs as she's talking about it. And then we'll just kind of make do with what we got. So, but I think it's really great. So I'm going to sit here out of your way and let you be the star.
Okay.
So this is the update at MAPS, which is the Military Aviation Preservation Society Air Museum. It's in Canton, Ohio. And it's a Charley Jewel update from 2019 to 2021. And again, it's the crew chief, Dave Pawski. Go for it.
First of all, I regret I am unable to attend this year's reunion festivities. The last 18 months have certainly been a challenge for all. Carrie and I have been no exception. We both came down with COVID-19 last December. Some of you may be aware my case was life-threatening. I spent 8 days on a ventilator and a total of 25 days hospitalized. I had many praying for my recovery, and I believe I had God on my side as a result. I have since made a full recovery, but it was a long run. Carrie had a tough time as well. While her case wasn't as severe, she had longer term symptoms. She seems to be doing much better now also. The last reunion in Washington, D.C. did inspire me to make a major upgrade for the Jewel. I picked up a copy of Stan Wash's book, The B-26 Goes to War. Stan had some interesting information on the early straight models that were fitted with the Mark 13 torpedo. Torpedo, my thought was to make a dummy torpedo of the Mark 13 and build the rack and mate them together. We started in the fall of 19. My crew found a Vietnam-era fiberglass wing tank in MAPS back 40.
Oops. My AV person right here.
You should be reading.
All you gotta do is click.
I'm gonna do that. You good? That one? That one there.
Yeah, that works.
There you go.
Okay.
We chopped the front and back sections off first. We made a new tail cone and nose cone. These pieces were attached and finished with filler to make the seams smooth. We fashioned a set of props and a rudder to complete the tail assembly. My crew made all of this from reference photos and a generic drawing from the internet. Next, I researched the torpedo box,
Okay. So this is what the torpedo looks like in the workshop.
You get she said to get the prints from Smithsonian?
I don't.
Just the internet.
Just the internet. Yeah, it's all here. So this is what the torpedo looks like, and now he just kind of moved it underneath the plane there, and then He's going to start the design of the midsection of the thing that anchors the torpedo. So you can see, I was looking for the clicker, but I don't know where the little light is. Right in the center? That's it? Oh, okay. So here's the front of it, and here's the midsection that he was working on. And then this is the whole section showing from the front, and then the sides here that hold the torpedo. And then there it looks like when it's completed. And then you can see it's now underneath the plane. And that's what it looks like on display.
You built all that from scratch?
Yes, from scratch. Okay. So we're done with the torpedo section of it, and now we're going to go on to the.
Hey, Ron,
Martin.
I have a question. Does anybody know what Dick Bailey was saying is wrong with that photo?
Yes, the props on set right.
You're absolutely correct. However, the motors are froze, so he can't turn it. He knows it, but there's not a dang thing he can do for it. Okay? So the next section we're going to talk about is
The Martin 250 turret.
So now we're going to talk about the turret. So he got a turret in, and go ahead.
The Martin turret was finally installed on October 2nd, 2019. It turned out to be a sad day, as early that day the Collins Foundation B-17-909 crashed at Bradley Airport in Hartford, Connecticut. We ended it on a positive note as the turret went in without too much trouble and nobody was hurt. I even had contacted Bud Galls to see if he had any advice for installing the ring gear bolts. I had to figure out ahead of time which bolts could be installed with the turret rotated at predetermined marks. I have a feeling I will be getting a phone call when Pat Robinson is ready to install Flakbait's turret. We did get a new dome made for our turret by Carl Shaw of Aero Trader, who sold us the turret originally. Since B-25s used this turret too, he was tooling to make the domes. We received the raw part, then fit it and cut the gun slots. We made dummy 50s also. The turret can rotate and the guns can be elevated manually. We did start a new project recently for a fairing to go around the base of the turret to hide the edge of the dome. Planes did have this part so it could complete the installation.
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
Instrument panel. I did acquire just about all of the missing instruments in a main panel. I couldn't find a photo since completing the installation just before the pandemic.
The majority of those instruments came from Pat as a donation to Dave and Maps. So without that, he wouldn't have a complete panel, and we appreciate different B-26 guys in restoration working together and helping each other, to get it up and running. So thanks for Pat for making that this beautiful, and that unit, usually you can crawl up in there and he'll allow you to crawl into it to see it, because I've been in the nose of that previous time here. But okay, next one.
Battle of Bulge.
Okay.
Back in December 2019, our curators created a display next to the Jewel without 1942 Ford Jeep.
There's a nice little Jeep there, and POWMIA, yep, Charley's Jewels, and the insignia there.
Future projects. While I have
A little closer.
While I have shifted most of any time at Maps to building our FG-1 Corsair, I am still committed to the B-26. I have acquired a torpedo director. This instrument, which aids the pilot in aiming the torpedo, I have to research in building the mounting. I am also trying to work a deal with Pat Rogers to have him provide the interior sound deadening material. My crew is making considerable progress on our FG-1 Corsair project. We started with a cockpit cut from an FG-1 wreck in 1945. The U.S. Navy gifted it back to Goodyear, where it is displayed from 1949 to 2009. It was then donated to MAPS as Goodyear was moving to a new HQ and no longer wanted. MAPS also has an R2800 engine and a Corsair prop. My crazy idea was to join these pieces, build the rest of the airplane, and make the wings fold. At this point, the aft fuselage had been joined to the cockpit. The stabilizers had been built and are being fitted. I am building elevators currently. I am not sure when it will be done, but I would guess 5 to 7 years, but depends on how it goes. After our experience with COVID, I thought it's best not to travel this year. I hope to return next year, and hopefully it will be much safer. I wish everyone well and miss being there.
Thank you.
Yeah.